We are gonna take that nut off the jack shaft. See how well it does. We got our DeWalt 1/2-inch cordless impact. We got an adapter on there. We're gonna see if the DeWalt can bust this baby loose. I think it can. Alright, see, we're on 3. Alright, let's see how this goes. Now that went pretty well. Got that busted loose. The old DeWalt came through. That's a pretty darn good little impact. Without having, if you don't have air, or you don't, I get lazy and I don't want to set up my air sometimes, and that thing is really good for busting stuff loose. So, catch you later. Alright, continuing on with our project here. Apologize for the clicking sound in the other videos. I'm not sure why that was doing that. Hopefully right now it's cured. So another part of the story or saga that we have to continue with is the bottom of this. So the bottom of the brush hog is right here. So this is where your blades come out. This comes in like so, and that stupid dogs. That is the bottom. So the problem that we have, and I think I've figured it out, is so that there's a greaser on the side of this jack shaft, and I assume that the manufacturer, you were supposed to pump grease in here, it was going to fall down and get onto this bearing, because the top here, there's that seal in there. Okay, so your gear, you got your bearing, your race, and your shaft coming through. Oops, upside down. Your gear is going to sit here like so, and any oil is going to come up here and lubricate this bearing but not go through the seal, which is actually really ingenious. The other gearboxes I've seen before, the oil seals down at the bottom, and then you get grass wrapped around there, it tears your seal out. So this is actually pretty ingenious. Now, there's no diagrams, nothing online for this. I don't know how this comes apart. I'm sure, I know it presses out, but I don't know if there was a seal here at one point. I'm assuming there was, and it just got destroyed, because when I pulled this out, there was, and this is just a little bit of it, but all this baling twine, years and years of grass was wrapped around that, and it had just tore this up completely. So I'm thinking and pondering, because I don't want to destroy this, how I'm going to get this seal out, and yeah, just get this seal out and I don't really need to take this out. This is an original bearing, it's got to be, because this top bearing, not only is it loose, but this top bearing slides in here and it's loose. So, I mean, there's a few thousandths play that we're going to have to deal with. I don't know if we can size it up, but it's got a time can number, and it's time can there, but on this bottom bearing, so somebody's been in here many years ago, I would assume. I can't read that, but it's a different size for one, because this won't go down all the way. Well, I don't want to get that stuck on there. But the shaft is tapered, and I think it's from wear. But yeah, we're gonna have to figure out if we need to take this off. In fact, let's just go ahead and do this real quick. In the previous video, we did a quick little lesson on reading calipers, so now we're going to go through it pretty fast. So we're going to measure the inside, I'm sorry, well, it's inside. It would be the outside diameter of the bottom seal. So, rough measurement there. We've got, so this is the front seal input. And this measurement down here will be the bottom jack shaft seal. Okay. It's probably more of a grease seal than anything. I've got to do some research on MasterCar. Like I said, I'm not an expert on seals, but I know enough to be dangerous. So we're going to have to do a lot of learning, which is why I enjoy doing this. So I want to get down here in the bottom and really get a good measurement. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to go with that. So the OD of the seal will be our first number, which is our inches, is 3.2, because we can see the line, and we're right at 9.9. So you could pretty much round that up to 3.2, 3.3. Well, I'm sorry, it wouldn't be 3, it would be, make sure. I've been using dial calipers, veneer calipers for a while, and I still got to remind myself how to use them sometimes. I was in class the other day and I totally forgot how to use one. And if I make a mistake, I'm sure somebody will call me out. I want to know. Now that's a little bit bigger. Well, it wouldn't be 3.3, it would be, this measurement is 3.2. 2.203. Let me make a note of that. 3.203. Let me do this one more time. Make sure I got my head on straight. Get a good reading. And it's kind of, we're going to be a few thousandths off these readings. This is not a machine surface by any means. I'm getting a little bit bigger reading than the first one we had. Oh, dog, shut up. Okay, the OD, I must have squeezed the caliper because I keep getting in here. We're gonna, so we've got 3.205. Yeah, that sounds better than the first reading we had. Okay, so we're gonna look that up and come to our closest seal on MasterCar for that one. I'm gonna zero it out real quick. And so the seal part should right here. And like I said, when I pulled this apart, there was no seal. So the seal would ride somewhere on here. And I have a buddy that's a machinist, and I might have him chuck this up in the lathe and just skim this. I don't know. We'd have to get it we'd probably have to find a seal that would work. But the good thing about this is the oil is contained up at the top. Grease is just down here at the bottom. And which makes a lot of sense, because if you blow this seal out and you lose all your oil, you're done for the day. So the engineers that designed this were way ahead of their game. I have a solution to an issue of the grass and just junk getting wound up in there, if I could find what I did with it. I'm going to grab the other. Oh, there it is. And this is just in theory. So this is going to be riding here. And I'm going to take this strip of rubber and I'm going to secure it to this somehow. I haven't decided how. Probably what I'm going to do is get some aircraft grade wire, and I'm going to stitch it from here to a bolt, around the bolt, tighten the bolt, come back up, so on and so forth. And I don't know how well that's going to hold up, but only time will tell. I can't think of anything else to secure this with, and I think that will hold it for a while. I don't know how the wire would hold up under the extreme conditions that are under a brush hog. I'd just like to keep the grass from getting in here. So, recap of what we need to do is we're gonna get this seal, and those are really the only seals. This seal, and that seal. So we've got 3 seals that we need. Oh yeah, let's measure this up here real quick. Or I'm sorry. We haven't measured this seal yet. This top oil seal. This is the oil seal. I've got to figure out how I'm going to get that seal out first. But let's go ahead and just do a quick measurement. Here we're going to get a good reading, move it around a little bit. Just get it comfortable and pull it off. Moved on me there. You don't want to just ram it in there and push. We're going to come back gently. I'm going to go ahead and lock it in. So our reading would be 2.2. And this is the ID. 2.2. Let's see where we at here. 4. 9. Alright. And I want to do this one more time to make sure we're just to see. So we've got just up here to make it 3.2, 0, 3. So this is, yeah. So I had 3.205, 3.203 is pretty stinking close. So that is where we're at on this project. A little bit of an update. Last year I didn't get as many videos out as I wanted. I'm still building the D14 engine, unfortunately, with everything from my 40-hour job to mowing to brush hogging. I've got a lot of things going on. So in time, this is just a side thing that I do. I just like old equipment, antique equipment. So where we left off with the D14 was that the center bearing for the camshaft, the oil holes did not line up, and I bought both sets of oil hole bearings for the cam. There were two options. I bought the first option, wasn't right. Bought the second option, it wasn't right. I did find some NOS new old stock on eBay, and they were pretty expensive. I'd already spent over $100 on bearings. I did mess up some bearings too. That's the other reason why we got extra bearings. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to set up a jig in the drill press and drill a hole that roughly matches the hole in the block and get it pretty close. Make sure there's no burrs, get it cleaned up, get it pressed in, and I think we'll be okay. I don't want to build something that's not going to last. That's the other reason why the D14 project is taking so long, because I think we're at part 1 and a half, and I filmed part 2, but I never got it out. So lots of other things. We had a lot of hay to do last year. We're doing small squares with old equipment, and it just takes a long time. But this year I want to get some more film footage of that. So that's where we're at. Hopefully I think everybody's up to date. The gantry I built, videos coming out, lots of little bits and pieces. We'll see how hay goes this year. I think I'm going to stick with mowing. We're going to do large properties with the zero turn, the right stander. That's going to be another video. Getting that in and welding up the frame is cracked on it and doing some minor repairs to that. That's the reason why I built this small gantry. The gantry, the trolley is rated for 4,400 pounds. I don't think I'll ever go above that, ever. This is a small gantry for moving small items. 200-300 pound things here and there, you know, the occasional engine block, but I'm not going to be pulling out Cummins 5.9 engines, you know, or Power Stroke 7.3s. This isn't designed to do that. It probably would handle it, but I'm not going to be doing it. It's going to be for overhead use, for picking up things. Like this thing together was probably 200 pounds. Picking things like that up. It is portable. I actually designed it to. I have an engine crane. When this is locked in place, you use the engine crane. It goes up high, and I've got an attachment that attaches at the top. And you roll it, and then you use the engine crane to lower it down onto 2 jack stands. You pull the top piece out. You slide the 2 A-frames together. They lock into place so they stand up without you having to hold it. And then you can load it onto your trailer and go. So if I want to go to a shop and pick up something heavy, I'll have people to help me take it apart and whatnot. But I think this is going to be really handy around here. Once we get a new shop and everything going, I'm going to build a bigger one. But for now, this thing's going to be good. So, well, that's a wrap. Get this video out here shortly. My goal is to post a video, probably going to be Sunday evenings. So every Sunday evening we're going to have a video. if not more. We want to get this content out. I don't see a whole lot of teardowns, rebuilds, at least from what I can tell, of older equipment like this. I could be wrong, but just with my experience with rebuilding engines, rebuilding differentials over the years at a professional shop, I think I can do this pretty easily and make good content. And I really enjoy old equipment because they just don't make old equipment like that anymore. I mean, you get a County Line brush hog from Tractor Supply, you know, I've seen them just after a couple of years, they're split broken and they got to be welded and whatever, you know. So we're going to get the brush hog body over here from the farm. We're going to get it up in the air on the gantry. We've got a lot of welding to do on it. I got a guy coming out this week to check on the electrical in my shop. I'm having some issues while welding, and I don't know if the wires that run underground are deteriorated, but I just want to get it checked out to make sure there's no issues. So I guess that's a wrap. We'll talk to you later. Don't forget, comment, rate, subscribe, and go check out my Instagram page, AliceChalmers59. I try to post there daily, a little projects that we're doing. So I really appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next video. Alright, we've got our pieces torn down. This is the jack shaft that goes through the center of the gearbox. Well, it comes out of the bottom of the gearbox, technically. This is the gear that sits on top. That was pressed on. We had to press it off. It is meshed to this inside here. I haven't messed with any of the backlashes. I don't think there's a whole lot of adjustment. This thing was packed full of grease, as you could see in the previous teardown video. We tried to heat that up, and it was a press fit. There was no way. So I took it up to my shop at work and pressed that off. It was fairly easy. This came off real quick. This was held on by a roll pin, which is somewhere around here. It broke. There it is. It broke upon removal, so we're gonna have to go match that roll pin up. Not a big deal, be a few cents. But other than that, everything's going pretty good. The previous owner had this hole here. They had on both sides, they had pipe coming in. I don't know if that was factory, I'm not sure. I'm probably going to end up cleaning these up and doing the same thing, but making it real nice, so that I can keep this full of fluid. For as much wears on this, I've had this for probably at least, I'd say 5 or 6 years, maybe more. So I think I got it in, let's see, when did I get this? 2010. Oh my gosh. So 10 years. And this is the first time, I haven't had any issues with it, but I've been worried about it. So along with the D14 breaking down, it didn't get used for a few years, but then we got the WD and we've been using a lot more lately. So we're going to try to get back all original so we can take it to the Orange Spectacular. This is the next seal that I've got to get out. It's not holding any liquid. I had the shaft in there, sprayed it full of fluid, and it leaked down through. The way this is set up, and I don't have any books or anything to tell me how this works, but it seems to me the shaft comes through here, and then our bearing is in here, and that's another problem. The race does not fit in here properly. And then the actual bearing and the race that fits over the shaft does not fit properly either. They all spin. So we're gonna have to figure that out. Somebody has been in here before. You can't see or not, but they drilled some holes, which is kind of like knurling a piece. Like if you have oversized ball joints or knurled ball joints, they'll put that in there, so to get it better fit. So I don't know if I'm gonna try to get a little bit bigger, get a little bit bigger bearing race and see what I can do with this. If not, I might just take a punch and make some marks in the race to get it to fit, or we'll use JB Weld. I don't know yet. This thing's kind of been abused and neglected its whole life, and I don't like that. I definitely don't want to run a piece of equipment that's this nice, but we'll just have to see how it goes. We've got some options, so stay tuned. Thank you. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe.